Kyushu, which together make up 98% of the country's territory. The remainder is made up of a number of small islands, including the Ryukyus, of which Okinawa is the largest, some just under 1,000 miles from Tokyo, which lie strung out in the Pacific between Kagoshima in southern Kyushu and Taiwan. In addition, there are many hundreds of tiny islets that surround the coastline and extend southward. Overall, Japan is slightly smaller than France or Spain, but slightly larger than Italy or the British Isles, and accounts for 0.3% of the world's landmass. The arc of its primary archipelago extends from 30 degrees north in southern Kyushu to 45 degrees north in northern Hokkaido, a latitudinal range comparable to the Atlantic seaboard of the US from Maine to Florida, or in Europe from Venice to Cairo. If we include the string of Ryukyu Islands, which reach as far south as latitude 20 degrees north, the distance covered is 2,362 miles. The Tsushima Strait, known as the Kaikyo Strait in Korea, which separates Japan from Korea, is 112 miles wide, while some 500 miles of open sea lie between southwestern Japan and the nearest point on the coast of China. The land. Running through the centre of Japan, endowing it with a rare scenic beauty, are 6 chains of steep, serrated mountains that are studded with volcanoes resulting from her geological location within the Pacific Ring of Fire. There are over 100 volcanoes, some 77 of which are designated as active, although few really are, especially Bandai and Asama in central Honshu, Aso, Unzun, and Sakurajima, currently in an active phase in Kyushu. The highest is Fuji, known as Fujisan, standing at 12,388 feet, which last erupted in 1707, but is still on the active list. In central Japan, dense mixed forests of oak, red cedar, beech, and maple blanket the slopes up to 5,900 feet. Land shortage, particularly during the period of spectacular economic growth in the second half of the 20th century, prompted considerable advances in land reclamation. This hugely expensive and painstaking process took place in many parts of Japan and continues to do so, adding valuable new building land, approximately 0.5%, to Japan's main landmass of 143,660 square miles. It included vast areas around the modern industrial cities of Tokyo, especially Tokyo Bay and Osaka. Most remarkable was the creation of Port Island and Rokko Island, and other adjacent islands off the port of Kobe, as well as the new Kansai International Airport, which is known to be sinking at the rate of 2.5 inches per year. The project involved the removal of millions of tons of earth and rocks from the tops of neighbouring mountains, a solution that underlines the pragmatic Japanese approach to life and its challenges. On the other hand, all of Japan's coastal areas are at risk, the Seto Inland Sea less so, from storm damage and tsunamis. The giant waves generated by earthquake activity, which the people of northeastern Japan, Tohoku region, learned to their terrible cost in the Great Earthquake of 2011. Climate and seasons. Many people have found it ironic that the refined aesthetics, the exquisite art forms and cultural elegance of Japan, consider for example the manicured beauty of her formal gardens, should have been created in a group of islands that straddle one of the world's most dangerous tectonic regions. 4 tectonic plates, the North American, the Pacific, the Eurasian, and the Philippine, meet under the Japanese archipelago, and in one of its most hazardous climatic zones. Japan's climate is the outcome of 2 competing weather systems, one from the Pacific, the other from continental Asia, involving at times ferocious annual weather changes from deep snow and low temperatures to devastating typhoons and unbearable levels of humidity. These physical facts heighten interest in what can generally be called the Japanese achievement, both cultural and physical endurance throughout history. The Japanese themselves regard such notions of achievement, however, as transient and very fragile, likening them to the brief flowering of the cherry blossom, sakura, in spring. They celebrate this natural phenomenon with outdoor events, public and private viewings, and the writing of poetry. As the countryside warms up, the blossoming fans out in an extraordinary 6-week flourish, initially from southern Kyushu in early March, then on through Shikoku and Honshu to northern Hokkaido along a 1,100-mile journey. Seasonal changes are well defined and vary considerably from east to west.